Hi, I'm Christina Watts, a Prince George multimedia artist, and welcome to Just Paint It. Today, we are going to make a really cool piece of grunge street art, so let's get going. Because grunge art has got super texture, we went through the back alleys and checked on lots of different street graffiti and textures the other day. Last night I went ahead and put a few mediums on here to boost our texture, and that was crackle paste and some pumice gel and some fiber paste, and all of these mediums, when they dried overnight, did what they needed to do so that I could paint over it today. I'm going to start off by just kind of dirtying up my canvas because, like I said, it's grunge and it needs to be sort of dirty looking. So I'm just taking a dropper with some acrylic fluid paint and just running it all through here. And then I'll work at it with a sponge and make it extra grimy and grungy. Actually, we'll switch from a grunge sponge today to more of a paper towel. You really have to have a good sense of reckless abandonment when you're making art like this and just go for it. It's that sort of the freedom of painting that a piece like this can give you. And you'll see we've got some crackle paste on here, which gives me some nice crackle marks that I don't really want to lose. So when I'm working with those, what I want to do is I want to tilt my canvas and drop it into sort of the cracks and let the paint work its way through. And I'll come in with a spray bottle and just sort of wash it out a little bit more. And make sure you have a sheet below you so that when you're spraying, because this gets really messy, that you've got some place for this to go. And I just love the way it explodes on the canvas. Now, the paint's doing some really interesting things in different areas, and that's all because of the added textures that I put on last night and let dry. The canvas wouldn't have the same effect if you had just left it. So, for example, like you can see that the crackle paste up here has absorbed just the black within its lines, which is perfect. It's great for this piece. And the same with over here. This one really did a nice job of graying out when I hit it with water. And then we have some nice organic lines over here. We are now gonna put some white texture because there was a lot of paint splatters in the alleyway. So this is really just white acrylic paint that I've watered down, and I've put it on my brush, and this is the motion. So I see a lot of people and they go this way, but you're just splattering yourself. If you want some control, and I highly encourage control when you're splattering, it's just down, like you hold it like this and you let this bristle spring forward. And so I'm just gonna add a few marks, and I'll even put some random brush marks in here too. And the alleyways have a lot of different writing, a lot of different texture. They have just some really cool stuff. And if you ever get a chance to walk through them, I highly encourage you to do it because it's really interesting what you can find that kind of comes off as organic. And there's actually a lot of quotes in the back alleys. And I think there's one downtown that says, fall in love, not in line. And I see a lot of people taking pictures with that one. I don't encourage you to, make graffiti on somebody's property, but, you can certainly use it to inspire a piece of art for yourself at home. And I'll move into the teals next because we've got some really nice grays and whites, and now we want just some pop of color. And I'm doing the same thing with the teal that I did with the white. I'm putting the toothbrush in the water bin, mixing it up with my teal, just so that I have a fluid paint on my brush. And it's okay to use your hands too. So you find that you're not getting enough splatters, go ahead and throw some color in with your hands. This is the freedom of painting. It's just going for it. I mean, as soon as you can learn to let go, you're really gonna flourish and I think just generally live happier. Okay, our painting has dried some, which is great now because I'm going to use charcoal next. Charcoal, you can wipe off your canvas. If you want to keep it on your canvas, you use a final fixative or workable fixative and it stays on. I'm not too worried about this because it's a grungy canvas, so if I get some smudges of charcoal in it, no problem. But what I really needed the charcoal for was to place in my words next, just so that I kind of have a nice spread on my canvas. So pick a quote that you like and put it on top. And today I'm going to put one of my favorite sayings on top. Now you're not going to really see it because I'm going to go over it in some red, but I'll at least know where it's at. I think one of the things that we saw in the back alleys the other day was X's and O's on the side of a building, and I really enjoyed that one. I think it'd be fun to throw in some X's and O's on a spread on a canvas. So I'm just gonna kind of take my hands and kind of figure that I am nowhere close to where I want this to be. So I'll move this over a bit more. Because I'm using the fluid acrylics, but I want them to be with my brush, I'm just going to put it on top of something and like a lid from another medium works fine. And we're gonna go now, if your handwriting is not perfect, like mine is not perfect, that's even better for you. And if you don't like what you've put on here, that's okay too, because you can totally take it right off. If you get into calligraphy, you'll know that you'll want to press down hard when you come down on a line, and then pull up to leave a smaller line above, or a narrower line. And if you find that you've slipped over some, what you can do is you can keep going over this, but you can also add other little marks on each side of the word. So I'm finding that my eye is a lot over from here. So what I might do is I might extend my eye just a little bit so it's interesting. This will fade out. This isn't going to be there as bright when it dries. I will throw these guys in a bit harder. And before this all dries, I'm going to spray it just to bleed it out a bit. I mean, it looks kind of like a red thing already, but what I want it to do is kind of seep into the canvas and look like it's been there for years. And I'm trying kind of just hit the bottoms of it, just because then you've got some definition up top and it kind of leaves your eye down like the rain's been dripping it down. And if you find that you get a few spots in that are really dripping down, that's okay, because you can just go back and wipe them off. And some people get afraid to put their paints down because they think that they won't come off again. But I can tell you that you can lift paint. In fact, lifting paint is one of my prized techniques. And then once you've got it bled out, you can go back in, redefine some of these letters. Fingers are great. Fingers are really fun to paint with. And I think I'm just going to put some black in there too. If you're ever having troubles with your letters and they've bled out too much for your liking, go back in with another color and just kind of help them out, give them another outline, a shadow. So that's what I'm going to do with this black now. If you like, you can always go in with your brush and soften your edges even further. But I'm gonna say that this one's close. I may do a couple adjustments later on my letters, but I think you get the idea. So we're gonna call this one finished, and I'm gonna sign off. And have yourself an artful day.